G'day and welcome to KrakenCast. This is the oceanic branch of the Vassals of Kingsgrave Game of Thrones review series. Today we'll be discussing episode 4 of season 8, entitled The Last of the Starks. My name is Duncan, or Valkyrist on the forums, and joining me today from Australia we have Dana.
Taindana on the forums.
And from America we have Bing.
Shoneshiner on the forums.
David.
davidhhh on the forums.
And briefly we've got Abby.
Hi, DaceyMormont on the forums.
All right, so guys, we're in the post-long night half of the season, and it really feels like anything could happen at this point. So I'm interested to hear what you guys thought about this episode. It's received a very mixed or a very polarizing response on the internet. Most of it seems to be centering on a Starbucks coffee cup, which was somehow smuggled into Westeros.
Yep. They're claiming it wasn't actually Starbucks, that it was from their own canteen or whatever, but still, either way.
Oh, okay. All right.
I need to know what Dany's preferred type of drink is.
Well, it's not clear what role the coffee cup will play in future episodes. It might be a souvenir of Bran's interdimensional travels. It might be the Night's King's last remaining Horcrux. Only time will tell, I think. But let's get into our lemon cake ratings. Dana, what did you think of this episode?
I give it a 4. I give it a 4, a solid 4. I really enjoyed character parts of it, which is complete fan service, but you know what? I'll buy into that. This is, the showrunners, not fanfic, but their version of. So, their fan service I liked. And there were parts that surprised me, and I didn't have as many issues, and I didn't see the coffee cup. So, my life was pretty good. So definitely a 4.
Awesome. Bing, what did you think?
Somewhere between a 3.5 and a 4. So I guess it's 3.75. I think the only problem I have is not so much the typical problems I have with the show past season 5 or 6. For this episode, I just felt like the pacing was a bit off.
Yeah.
It felt like there was 2 episodes in this episode. And I feel like this would be better if it was 2 episodes.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, they might be running out of time. They just have to keep shuffling people around the board as quick as possible. But David, what did you think?
I'm going to actually agree with Bing. I'm wavering between 3.5 and 4, so I'll probably give it a 3 3/4 as well. It wasn't as eventful as it could have been, but then again, I also actually wasn't expecting a confrontation in King's Landing already. I thought this might be another down episode, so I guess I got a little more than I expected. If you ask me 10 minutes from now, I might go up a half a point or down, but I enjoyed it. It was fun. It was good. It wasn't amazing, but I enjoyed it. And we'll get into the details later.
Yeah, of course. And what did you think, Abby?
I also agree with Bing. I felt like there was a lot of tonal inconsistencies. It was 2 episodes in one. So I give the first half of the episode a 4.5, and then the second half maybe a 3. So what is that? That's a 2.75, 2 point something like that. I'm bad at math.
3.75.
Sure. Yeah, I'm an art student in college, so I don't do math. I don't know. I liked the fan service stuff because it's fan service, so you gotta like it, I guess. And then I just felt like the other half was there was so much fast things going on that I just kind of was what is happening? Why is this all of a sudden happening? I don't know. Yeah.
I actually really enjoyed this episode. I was pretty lukewarm on the first 2 episodes of the season. They felt really sluggish, but this episode felt much closer to the Game of Thrones I know and love. It was fast moving, had a lot of tension and scheming, had these sort of complex ethical and political dilemmas. And the characters kind of felt active again, like they were wrestling with internal and interpersonal conflicts. I think Dany's potential descent into madness is really compelling and actually quite believable. Both just the plotting and also Emilia Clarke's performance was quite good. And I think it takes the story away from the stereotypical fantasy that it's kind of been cresting towards in the past couple of episodes and towards something genuinely shocking. So I was going to give it 4 lemon cakes, but I'm docking points for the fact that War Hero Ghost didn't get a single nuzzle for his brave service from Jon, which is absolutely unforgivable. So I'm going to give it 3.75 lemon cakes.
Right. So we almost all agree.
I know, it's pretty. Yeah. That's about the mark we're all hitting. But that's okay. So
I'm surprised that you think. Oh, sorry. Oh, I'm just surprised you think that it's going away from classic fantasy tropes, because I feel like it's going towards that, like, those who don't want power are the best rulers, like, classic trope.
I know, but like,
So,
I guess the way that, well, again, like the fact that they're debating between Daenerys and Jon, who's like probably the worst candidate for governance. Like, he's a good fighter, but the idea that he's like going to make the hard decisions seems a bit silly
Yeah.
compared to someone like Sansa or I don't know, other candidates. But I mean, Dany's just been propped up as this savior figure for so long. Everyone's fallen in love with her, so that sort of idea that they've invested all this hope in this one character and she could fail them is really interesting. And Dany's sort of desperation is really interesting to me. The fact that she is also bought into this savior role because she's been told she's the savior for so long. And it's kind of collapsing around her, or she feels isolated. She feels like an alien in her own homeland, or the homeland she presumes to belong to govern. Yeah, it's interesting.
Your deep read of it has swayed me. I get what you're saying now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's sort of it's a bit of a mix of things because it definitely still leans into some of the fantasy aspects but unpacks it a bit more. Yeah, it's cool. But it feels like I guess as we were heading towards the long night, it felt like the story was wrapping up. But in many ways, it feels like it's like starting up again. Well, like it's heading in all these new directions, even though we only have 3 episodes left. So it's kind of like
the problem with I feel like the problem with the long night, or everything that's up to that, was that a bunch of characters just feel like they have nothing to do with the conflict with the Night King. It's fighting against dead people. Like feel like Varys, they have no idea what to do against fighting against dead people. But now we're fighting against living people again. Varys is suddenly feeling very useful again.
Well, that's the thing. People like Varys and Tyrion and Sansa. It's like if you're not a martial character, you don't really have much to do in these big battle episodes. Yeah. But in many ways, it's kind of like once the long night, like the long night, kind of gave everyone a good feeling because they all knew their role. They all knew they're on the one side. They all had a common enemy to unite against. But now that common enemy is gone, you kind of get the harsh light of day, and you realize, no, it isn't really a happy ending. All the problems that were there before the long night are still there, and all these characters that felt united are starting to break apart and become suspicious again, and the kind of the bad impulses of humanity and politics start to reclaim people's hearts. But let's get into the episode itself and analyze each scene. So again, it's getting trickier and trickier to divide up these episodes. We used to do it in previous seasons by location, but we're kind of going to have to just do it by sections of the episode. Most of it takes place in Winterfell, or at least the first half, and then it branches into the south. We begin with the victors of the Battle of the Long Night burning the bodies of the slain. And we also get Jon cleverly mixing Theoden's Helm's Deep victory speech and the Night's Watch oath into a fair use speech. In Winterfell's Great Hall, Dany is hosing the crowd down with beer and promotions, while side-eyeing Johnny-come-lately Targaryen. Jaime whisks Brienne back to her bedchamber to knight her a second and third time. And the hound's eating and brooding is continually interrupted by pesky blacksmiths, lovesick wildlings, and not-so-little birds. So this is the victory banquet, I guess. It was kind of a feel-good couple of scenes, but some of the tensions started to creep into, and sort of Dany's precarious hold on the situation started to rear themselves. What do you guys think of these scenes?
I definitely liked it. I got a little teary at the beginning, so that was my crying that I expected to have from last episode. And then I liked all the character dynamic stuff a lot. I really liked the Tyrion and Jaime bonding. I thought that was really cute. And I was very surprised that they actually had Sansa and Sandor talking to each other. So that was a cute bonus that I really enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the fans have been waiting for that for a few episodes.
Right?
And we finally saw it.
All along we've been waiting. Like, finally.
I did like that. The speech that Jon gave, I actually thought was a little bit moving. And yeah, kind of a nice moment. You get all the characters kind of, especially Dany sort of like saying goodbye to Jorah and kissing him on the forehead, and Sansa crying over Theon. I thought it was all quite moving. I liked it. And
giving Theon the Stark pin, which I liked.
Was that
the hand of the Stark pin? Like, kind of.
Yeah, he died in his home. He died with his true family.
And he
See,
burns
to me it looked like a Stark like metal bookmark that that you could buy from the HBO store.
Pretty sure you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, there
I
should have been a
probably-
little pop-up at the bottom of the screen. Order
I
now.
felt like that was, I felt like that was a bookmark, but that's me. Just
Merch
like,
plug.
anyway, it's fine. But, yeah, I did really enjoy the goodbye. I liked the awkwardness of the dinner. It was at the beginning, just because everyone is so tired and just over it, and something good had to happen to like pick up the mood.
I feel
One-
like
one of the-
I was watching a fan fiction come to life.
hmm I'd say a lot of this episode I felt that way. One thing I did like though, notice in the burnings, Sam finally does burn Ed just a little bit late.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I felt it was definitely fan fiction-y. I felt it was sort of similar to the second episode, which also had a lot of drunken revelry and sort of pre-battle jitters. But I don't know, I enjoyed these scenes a bit more. They felt a bit more earned, and there was like a sense of like relief and palpable relief that they'd survived this, and they're all kind of bonded in that moment. So when Tyrion and Jaime and Brienne were playing the drinking game, I was really enjoying it because we just got through this really intense, like emotionally draining episode. So it's kind of like, oh, finally we can relax a bit. Like it felt really earned, and yeah, I enjoyed it. Like it was sort of well written and well acted. It was fun.
You know what I thought was most striking about the drinking game? Is that before she even gets laid, Brienne is smiling through the whole fucking thing. It's like, this is so weird to see Brienne just smiling now that she's a knight. And even before she gets laid, like, wow. We've never seen that in like how many seasons since she joined the cast. Like, it was just nice. Of course, it all ends in tears. It's Game of Thrones. So. I get, though, that they were, like, trying to make the whole embarrassment of Brienne, but at the same time, she's an unmarried woman in the Seven Kingdoms. She's supposed to be a virgin. Like this isn't some big, horrible shame. That's what she's supposed to be.
Yeah, I feel like that part's a little bit clumsy. It must feel like, oh, these are frat boys. Even in Westeros, talking about how a girl is still a virgin, even though, I mean, yes.
Yes, it did feel oddly modern, the sort of drinking game that we're playing.
Yeah.
But there's the best part is like Tormund and Jon, where Jon's like, vomiting is not celebrating, and Tormund's like, yes, it is. Just perfect Tormund Jon moments in there.
Cultural differences.
But and I just had one question. You know how Bran is talking to Tyrion, and he's like, oh, this design is one of my favorites.
Yes.
From when like Daeron Targaryen with the crippled nephew. I cannot find the crippled nephew.
I think that's fan fiction.
Okay.
I don't remember that, and I don't think so.
Especially depending on like what Daeron Targaryen. God, if it's one of the nephews, it's like his father was, the unworthy, and there's just so many bastards, and I'm like, I don't have enough time to click on all those links.
I don't recall that. Does anyone else? I think that was fan fiction. I could be wrong. Maybe it's in there somewhere, but
Nah, I'm pretty sure they just like to invent Targaryens to suit their needs at this point.
yeah.
Oh, but so does George, so,
True.
we don't know him.
I mean, for all we know, Bran invented it just to prove his point or something.
Yeah, basically.
Right. Who's going to prove him wrong, right?
Yeah.
He can just make up stuff.
You calling me a liar? I know the infinitudes of reality.
You notice Tormund bounced back from his heartbreak pretty quickly. He cried for a minute, and then, I guess I'll just fuck this girl.
I actually felt really sorry for him, even though he's pretty gross around Brienne. He seemed genuinely distressed about it. But then, he got over it pretty quickly, as you say.
Really quick. But although he did make the comment later that these Southern girls don't like me, so maybe that didn't go so well, wherever the wedge she went off with. One other thing about the Sansa and the Hound talk, I liked that when she says that she dealt with Ramsay and he asks her how, she says hounds. I love that line.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that conversation completely. I was just, as soon as she sat down, I was elbowing my partner. I'm like, call her a little bird, call her a little bird. And then when Sansa's like, if I went with you, I would still be a little bird. I'm like, oh,
yeah, that was great.
Sansa.
I like how the Stark sisters are like the only two characters that he doesn't like despise or he tolerates.
Yeah.
Because they're sort of like two characters that have sort of come under his tutelage, and he's tried to teach them some harsh realities about the world. And to their credit, they have survived and they have like braved some pretty harsh realities and lived to tell the tale.
Right. And I mean, they're both as damaged as he is too. I mean, in their own ways.
Yeah.
So what about Gendry, the Lord of Storm's End?
Yeah.
Not Gendry Rivers. Shouldn't that be waters? But whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Gendry Rivers.
Rivers is Riverlands.
Well, I guess we don't know his mother, but we assumed he was born in, or we assumed she was a King's Lander.
King's Landing, yeah.
Right.
But yeah, that's a hell of a promotion from blacksmith to great lord.
We think they'll go that way in the books?
I could see that. Like Edric's... Well, no, I was thinking Edric Storm maybe, but...
Yeah.
If he's still around at that point.
Yeah.
My headcanon is Edric Storm becomes Lord of Storm's End, and Gendry's there as the next, like, Donald Noy. God, who's a blacksmith at Castle Black?
Yeah, Donald Noy.
Yeah. Oh, I just had...
You got it.
I should trust in my nerd. That's my headcanon, and it just goes around again. Although hopefully Gendry keeps his arm. Who knows?
I still want Arya and Gendry to wind up together in the books, but
see,
we
I want it to happen in the show, and I don't want it to happen in the books.
But they're like, really? But they're like closer in age in the books.
In the books, I think like Arya is just going to disappear somewhere. Like once the battle is done, she's out of dodge. I think the next battle she sees will make her reevaluate, what it is to look after common people, like common folk, and the role that she can have in that. And I think that might be a way that she returns to Gendry. Or he gets crippled and then she feels really bad, so looks after him for the rest of her life and despises him and all the children that they have together. She didn't get to have adventures.
Oh dear.
Gendry's also with her mom right now, right?
Oh yeah.
True.
It's a hell of a mother-in-law.
Oh God, could you imagine?
Awkward family dinners.
Bringing him home to mom to meet mom. Like, oh, you already know him, but.
What do you guys think of Dany sort of watching all the crowds and adulation that Jon was receiving, kind of looking at him a little sort of slightly proud, but also very wary, and I don't know, she seemed like she was a bit isolated there on the dais.
Well, not
envious,
just isolate.
Which I do think Emilia Clarke did it really well, of just all this hearing people heap praise on Jon and her just being like, but me, I've ridden dragons and done all that and brought them to save you. But it, as you were saying before, Duncan, it shows her possible descent into madness really well, of its fear and its envy, and she's going to accuse Jon of betraying her when he hasn't. And it's all those really strong emotions, and I thought she did it really well. She does a pissy look like no one else. Like even Lena Headey cannot get like that perfectly pissy look. Like, Lena Headey has a bit more menace to it, where Dany just oh my goodness, the tantrums she would have had as a child would have just been horrible.
It was good though, because it was definitely a pissy look, but she was kind of trying to cover it because he would kept looking back and she kept trying to be assuring and like, good on you, I'm proud of you, But yeah, I think it's that shadow on the wall thing. Like she's sensing how precarious power is, or how much it can shift between people. And yes, she everyone thinks she has the best claim to the throne, and she has the armies. But in reality, I mean, she's lost her Dothraki. She's lost a big chunk of her Unsullied. She's lost one dragon and loses another one in this episode. It's kind of like all of the material things that kept people kneeling to her are kind of drifting away, and all she has left is her claim. But even that's kind of a bit tenuous at the moment now that Jon's revealed it. But also the sort of emotional layer is that she actually, well, whether the chemistry is there or not, we're told that she genuinely loves Jon. So she's really conflicted. So we also get that scene a bit later.
Well, she definitely is starting to feel really paranoid too, because I mean, like she makes the comment of, yes, he says, oh yes, they all love you. It's like, well, they all did in Essos, but no one in Westeros does. She makes that comment like, everyone here loves you, they don't love me here. So, and then I did like that interesting bit where she's looking around, like you said, that where you notice they took all the sounds and kind of muffled it out, so you can just see, like, you ever like when you're seething and you're in a room and you kind of don't hear anything around anymore because you're just angry about something, or and you could just, and they really pulled that off well. That was where I started to feel like you're saying, saying that like descent into madness there. In her case, I think it's more paranoia than madness. Like she's, oh, they're all out to get me. They all love him. I got nothing. Like I could definitely feel like she just wasn't even hearing what was going on around her anymore, other than the things she heard before that got her paranoid.
Up to this point, she was consciously feeling like she's the main character of her own story.
Right. And here she, in the middle of this dinner, she realizes she's not.
Yeah, everything, even up to that point, even like when she just got to Westeros, she feel like she's the main character of her own story. And it was only at this point where she suddenly realized, oh my God, there's another main character. And seems like people like that main character better than me.
That could be kind of meta, couldn't it?
Yeah.
One other thing about the Arya Gendry thing, I liked that, you know, when it was so sad when he proposes to her and she's like, oh, she gives him the hug, she gives him a kiss, and then she lets him down and she says, the typical line of, oh, any woman would be proud, blah, blah, blah. But then, you know, she says, and any lady, she says that, any great lady would, but that's not me. And that's like a direct callback to what she said, was it to Ned way back when in the first season? Mm-hmm. That's not me.
Right. Yeah.
More callbacks to the first season.
Okay. Unless there's nothing more to say, we might move on to the next slew of scenes. So Dany pleads with her drunk boyfriend not to tell everyone he is the rightful heir to the Iron Throne, and he immediately holds a Stark press conference about it in the Godswood. While getting the lowdown on being low down in a relationship, the Lannister brothers are accosted by a crossbow-wielding Bronn, who demands their wallets, jewelry, and any great castles they have on them. In the courtyard, Jon bids a heartfelt farewell to Tormund and Sam, but he can't even offer a single belly rub to the goodest dire puppy in the world.
Right?
What happened to Grey Wind in this entire battle? What was he doing?
Ghost.
Ghost, you mean? Sorry, not Grey Wind.
Well, we don't know. He disappeared.
He runs off at the beginning, and that was the direwolf budget for that episode. And then we see him again now. Yeah, but he didn't really come back. We didn't see him come back. So presumably he was just out in the middle of the sort of sea of corpses surviving.
He's a literal ghost.
Yeah.
Quick
Obviously
question.
doing a good-ass job because he only has one ear. Also, why hasn't anyone given him a bath? He deserves at least a good, or a brush, all that blood in his fur. And fuck you, Jon. Fuck you. Give him to Tormund just because he belongs in the North. Halfway, in that scene, I actually wrote my alternate fiction of, where are we? Let me just find my page.
Oh, no. Oh, that's funny.
Jon returns broken to the north, but most likely dies in the south, which is going to happen. But my alternate fiction is Jon returns and lives his last days with ghosts north of the wall. And he's just there farming, and there's ghosts just watching him with his one little ear and just being like, I'm glad you returned to me, and not that dragon bitch.
It's unbelievable.
I was so insanely mad.
Can I add one little fan fiction bit too? Because it's funny. It's really from later, but it'll fit here with what you're saying. There's a great meme that I think Adam posted in one of the forums. I mean, in one of the Skype chats, which is Rhaegal being hit by the and it's actually Ghost that shots it and just looks and goes, bitch.
I have sent that to so many of my friends. You know what? And that is what Jon gets. When you reject your old god-given direwolf, they take your dragon. That's what happens.
But he didn't even take it. He didn't even ride it. That was the weird part.
I know, but I mean, they took his dragon option away. You wanted a dragon, and you cast away the direwolf. Now you get nothing. Be happy with what you should have been given, Jon.
And now they're both out of the budget, so the producers are happy.
Starks should never let their direwolf get away. They always die.
I'm not sure if we passed this, but I can't believe we haven't said anything about Brienne and Jaime.
I feel
like that's a big topic of conversation, and I mean, did it feel? It felt so fan service to me.
No,
but I liked
beautiful.
it. But I still liked it. Well, it was beautiful till he,
I liked it. It was.
And I liked how that Jaime has no game unless it's with Cersei, and he's like, I'm just gonna take off my shirt, and he can't even do that, and can't even take off her shirt. This is like, oh, Jaime, bless you. You're too used to fucking your sister.
Right. Well, I actually like that.
he probably
I
hasn't.
read that a little.
Yeah, sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, well, that's the thing with Jamie. He's never been with anyone except Cersei, but it was just adorable to see him all awkward.
I read that a little different way. I mean, yes, him being awkward, I think it was just he was drunk and whatever. But I liked that he goes to take hers off and she says no and she does it herself. And I that's how I read it, was she says, I'll do this. And she takes hers off and then she takes his off too. So it's like, I like that, like her taking a little power there, which I thought was cool, especially in their dynamic, given their dynamic that she's always been kind of, you know, a little below him. And now she's kind of taking the power, although look where it gets.
I mean, power, but also just wanting to go at her own pace. And it's like, it's a big deal to her and she wants to, be comfortable with it.
Right. But she said,
nice.
This is my body. I'll do it. I'll take this off. I liked it.
Yeah.
And then Jamie decides to stay with her, and but then goes back on it. But hey, the 40 minutes where I thought they were staying together was a great 40 minutes. I was happy. I had a smile.
But did you really think? Did anyone think he was just gonna like stay there and that would be the end of his story? Like that can't happen, right? I mean, there's no way. There's no way. And I didn't actually think it would go so fast. Like I thought he would have at least waited till next episode to leave her, but apparently he couldn't. Oh well, Jamie the bastard.
Bronn
I did like
ending up with the Reach.
Yeah, Bronn is like going for the high mark. I don't know how he's gonna like enforce this deed under crossbow. I don't know if that'll hold up in court, but we'll see.
I think he's basically saying, look, if you don't, I'll get you in your sleep. You know?
What leverage does he have? Like he's just threatening to come back to kill them. Can't they just post guns?
I guess.
He's the best. He's Bronn.
He has crossbows and shit.
He's
a killer.
He spanned an entire continent to threaten them and then just walked all the way home.
Well, he didn't just threaten them. He, theoretically just got, the most fertile part of the realm. The richest and most fertile part of the realm he just got. So that's a pretty big...
Tyrells. Why not?
Right.
Apparently.
I did like the line that, like, my fighting days are over, but my killing days aren't. Yeah. I was like, that's a good threat. Yeah. Also, Tyrion making little person jokes to Jamie. That was great. Yeah. That was, probably the best fan service moment besides the sex part.
Yeah, I like them together. It's good for them both to have a friend. Because they're always a bit, up against antagonists.
What about that whole, just the whole Jon and Dany scene where she's like pleading with him and she's just getting more jealous by the moment and desperate. And she's asking him to do the one thing Jon can't do, which is lie. Because, he has he's not his father, but the man who raised him, that Ned's bad honor. You can't ask him to lie. It's the one thing he won't do,
I actually found it a pretty moving scene because, like, Dany, again, is caught between that political ambition, but also, like, her emotional attachment to Jon, and she keeps saying, like, can't we just go back to the way it was, and blah, blah, blah. I liked all that sort of mixed up, sort of fraught interpersonal dynamics. I thought it was well done.
But, it's so obvious how jealous she is. She's just totally jealous of him. And is basically trying to put him in his place now. Like, just don't tell anyone now, or she's just so paranoid. It's like there's no way a good relationship can come from this, right?
And I wonder if the writer's actually using this to comment on how rushed this relationship was. Actually, and actually trying to make a point about it.
Or that maybe Dany is someone who is, scared of being alone, so kind of saw someone in Jon that she could rely on, didn't, wanted someone to be with, or wanted someone to fill, I don't know, Khal Drogo or Dario's shoes. Like, I don't know if it's like she sees it as an equal relationship.
I honestly thought you were going to say fill her holes. And I was
oh my God.
And then I realized it's you, and I was just, sorry, Duncan.
Oh man. But I think she does respect him, but I don't know. Like, I think like loneliness is a big thing for Dany. She felt lonely as a child, but also because she has so much power, she often feels distance from people, or she feels like she can't trust people. So like it was a big step for her to place her trust and her faith in Jon. So there is something like really desperate and sort of betrayed and hurt about this pleading.
And
that he is sorry, just to finish, that he has someone that was like emotionally connected to her and has now kind of interrupted her in this kind of political realm. So he's kind of almost playing two conflicting roles that she can't quite reconcile.
Yeah. What I was also going to say is that also goes back to that last scene that I was talking about where she's angry and tones everyone out. But at the same time, she's in a huge room full of people and she feels really alone. And you can totally see that. So...
But why can't John just keep this a secret? Like, is he just like? Why does he have to tell people?
Honor.
What does that
Stark
mean though?
honor.
Why is it dishonorable to keep this secret?
Because you can't lie to your family. He can't lie. I don't know.
What would the lie be that he's not really their brother? Is that it?
Well, all of it, I think.
I guess.
I mean,
Seems like
yeah, it might be a little forced, but I mean, John and Ned, that's always been their downfall, is their honor does them in,
But I mean, Ned kept the secret.
Oh, that's
Why
true.
can't
He
John?
did.
And like Ned was specifically dishonoring like his own marriage, whereas
Right.
John, there's no real repercussions for John keeping the secret. It's not like he doesn't intend. He keeps saying, "I don't intend to take the throne." So why put this information out there?
I guess, I mean,
we're the character writing of a lot of these, of John, of Danny, of like they sort of have a character type, and they sort of have to stick to the same, because John did the same thing during the last episode of last season, in which he admitted for no good reason to the entire council of important people that he already bent the knee to Danny.
Right.
I think also, though, I mean, it's inevitable at some point it's going to come up. I mean, in the way that it did come up between the family when they're like, "You're our brother," like for him to go, "Yes," it's just he can't do that. He has to tell them the truth, and I think it fits his character. I mean, we can argue whether it was smart or whatever, but certainly John hasn't always made smart moves. I feel it's within his character to be like, I can't lie to them about this. So
I would like John to learn from his mistakes, because he keeps making these really bad like decisions for honorable reasons, and they always come back on him in really toxic ways, and he keeps getting saved, but like it's just not fair. Like, just play the Game of Thrones, man.
Well, there's no one left to save him now. Like Davos was saying before, like, what the hell, Lord of Light? There is, like, you just go on. There's no blessings. There's nothing. It's just done. Like, there was proof of you, and now there's no proof of you. It's kind of like that. There is nothing that could return John when he dies. I still can't get my head around why Dany just doesn't marry him. And you do not need a power sharing thing, because when Varys and Tyrion are talking later, like, it's said quite well that if they marry, Dany is a dominant person in that relationship. John will do what Dany says. And if she just realizes that, marries him, gets him on the side, she doesn't need to worry about him usurping her. He's already king.
But she's so paranoid here. She's paranoid here, and she knows that everyone else is going to be looking at him and thinking the king, not me. Yep. And she can't. I mean, remember, she's grown up with this whole privilege. This is my entitlement more than privilege even. This is my entitlement. I deserve this. And now she's even questioning whether she really does. I mean, because realistically, she doesn't, I mean, he does have the better claim, and not just because he's a man, but because he's the older brother. I mean, he is the rightful king, and that makes her paranoid, and rightfully so.
He's not the older brother. He's the oldest male heir.
Right.
Male heir.
Well, he's the son of the son. He's the son of the son rather than the sister. So that would give him dibs anyways. Even if she was a man, he would have dibs.
Yeah, I guess it sort of shattered her confidence, because like, she was laboring under this belief that she was the heir and also had the most powerful army, but it's kind of like she's kind of questioning that, and that loss in self-esteem has made her paranoid, and it's disrupted their relationship. And like we past podcasts we did mention this as an obvious solution, but they do bring it up. They say that Dany would bend him to her will, and she's become paranoid, and she thinks that I guess the suggestion is, even if they did marry, that his claim, or merely the fact that he's a man, would mean that people defer to him over her.
Right. And she's not the type to take that lying down,
Yeah. That's not her personality.
They both, her and Varys, make the good point that it's not up to them at this point. People, it's all down to public perception, and Dany in her mind, and as well as and possibly also in reality, people, at least a huge group of people, like Jon better. Period. And regardless of what Jon wants, they'll make Jon the king.
Right.
So
I could go into another ghost rant if we wanted to. I agree. This is not even a belly scratch or a look. Nope. Like, they did a look. Sorry, there was a look. Ugh.
Yeah,
that's a very just like, whatever look.
Yeah, I didn't really know what to
That would be
make of it. Like, I guess the cynical possibility is just that, again, they don't have enough CGI budget, and they just
Yep.
because it's like, why even have this scene if you're gonna make it such a like a kick in the guts to Ghost? Because he looks up and sort of whimpers when John walks away from him. It's like so heartbreaking. Well, like, why even have the scene and cast John in such a horrible light? I guess maybe one implication is that John is kind of turning his back on the North in some way. Like he's kind of going south with Daenerys. Like again, yeah, he's chosen the dragon over the wolf, that kind of thing. Or the fact, the knowledge that he's born of Rhaegar Targaryen has kind of disrupted his own perception of being a Stark or being of the North, the same way that Dany's perception as being that the true heir to the Iron Throne has been kind of disrupted.
Right. I also found it interesting that, we have this whole discussion of, well, first of all, Tormund and all of the wildlings have basically, okay, we fought the dead, but we're not fighting these fights for you.
Yeah.
So they're leaving. And there's a line that Sansa has where she says, we've lost half of the armies of the North. And I'm not clear if she meant they all died or if she meant that a bunch of them, they've gone back home. Like they're not here to fight anymore. They're done. Like there was a hint of that. So, it's interesting to say, we all say that, yeah, they're all going to follow John, but it sounds like they're not following him, actually.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough for the wildlings. What do they care about the Southern Kingdoms?
Well, I actually would expect Tormund to have stayed with him at least through the end. If not the rest of the wildlings, at least Tormund.
Yeah.
But it does make sense that he left, but I kind of wanted him to stay. That said, that triple goodbyes gave me all the feels. I mean, first you have him saying goodbye to Tormund, which started to get me a little choked up. And then Sam, and I lost it. Like him hugging Sam and, and knowing and finding out that Gilly's pregnant. Oh,
so,
I bawled.
See, and that scene, I was just like, oh, so they wrote in a justification for the actress gaining a little bit of weight.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like that's how that came across to me. Like, oh, and just like, we're going to name him after you. I was like, no, I'm out. Like this just, going to throw up over my mouth a little bit.
No, I feel like they were totally going for her having a baby because, little Sam isn't his baby. So now he gets one. I think that's what they were going for, but whatever.
So I didn't quite catch it. Is Sam going back to Horn Hill or the Citadel?
I thought he was going north. I thought he was going north with Gilly.
Oh, okay.
Because you notice Tormund and him, and then we get the third goodbye of Ghost, all are kind of together. I felt like he's taking her back like home to the north kind of thing because he doesn't have anywhere to go now. I don't know. I'm not sure why, but I think that's what they were going for.
Well, I guess technically he's still sworn to the Night's Watch. I don't even know if the Night's Watch is a thing anymore because they've killed the White Walkers.
Only Sam. He's like the last one left.
But he does mention...
Maybe he'll be the leader.
Well, literally, yeah, he's the only one left. But he does mention that to Dany that, like, maybe I can go home to Horn Hill now that my father's gone. I'll be accepted again. But he's talking about talking about the Citadel a bit and the libraries, and so I wasn't quite sure where he was heading. I mean, I'd like him to go to the Citadel, become a maester, or... he's the last of the Tarleys left. Why doesn't he just become Lord? He's got an heir, so yeah, I don't know. I'll have to rewatch the episode to see if they mention where he's going. I'm sure YouTube will inform us gracefully.
Right. I just rewatched it, and I don't think they said specifically. I thought the implication was he's going with Tormund and Ghost, but I could be right.
Don't think Gilly enjoys going back past before north of the wall.
Yeah, I doubt she has fond memory.
Yeah,
like fond associations with Beyond the Wall.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense, but I think that's what they were going for. But then, it's not the first thing that hasn't made sense.
Do you think that's the last we're seeing of Sam? Is that his curtain call?
I think all of them.
Episode, so 2 episodes.
Yeah, well, it's a pretty good ending for him. He's probably one of the few characters to get a happy ending. Baby on the way.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. So the second half of the episode, we've got Dany and her Unsullied are sailing south to show this Cersei broad what's what, while Jon marches with the rest of her army by land. Below deck, Tyrion and Varys are power ranking the 2 potential monarchs. Grey Worm and Missandei hold hands and look lovingly into each other's eyes, which is the signal for Euron to play pin the javelin on the dragon. Rhaegal is made.
Oh.
Rhaegal has made a sacrifice to the drowned god, while Dany and Drogon make a hasty retreat. The survivors wash up on shore, but Missandei is not among them. Dun dun dun.
Yeah, I was just going to do that.
Was anyone else hoping for a Kraken to turn up? Because I was hoping for a Kraken just to like snatch like Rhaegal's body.
We've got to get one. We've got to get one.
I just wanted one so bad.
We can use it for the cover art for the podcast.
Right? That would have been the moment, right? That would have been the moment.
Yeah. I laughed when the first shot went through Rhaegal. I was so surprised. Not laughed as in I thought it was funny. I was just so, shocked and into it that I giggled all the way through just in like, oh my God, this is actually happening. Oh my goodness.
I know. It was so shocking because I was like chatting with the person I was with because I thought it was kind of a lull in the episode. And then all of a sudden there's like holes being burst into the dragon. Like it just came out of nowhere.
And even worse, Euron takes out a fucking dragon. Like, that pisses me off. Of all the people.
At that point, I think I was telling my partner that I was right. This, like, Grey Worm is totally returning Missandei's bones to Narth at the end. Like, that's his, like, final scene or something. Like, that's what because this has been my thing for since the beginning of the episode. That's what I think is going to happen since they had that conversation about Narth in the first episode.
Right.
Like, I've known she's going to die. And I was like, see, I'm right. And boom, shot straight into Rhaegal.
Yeah, with Grey Worm and Missandei, they've been trying to Grey Worm's going to get it, and they keep and he keeps surviving and says aha, gotcha, it's actually Missandei.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the moment they were holding hands, we were done with them. We knew, we already knew it from 2 weeks ago, but now we're really, really telescoping, and it's over.
Yeah, 3 days from retirement. I would love if we saw Narth and he buries her bones among the butterflies. That would be so sweet.
Oh, yeah.
What else?
Oh, there was a discussion in there somewhere. I think that's in this section here of how Yara has taken the Iron Islands, and there's a new Prince of Dorne. Who the fuck is this? Is there suddenly a Quentin in the show?
Oh my God, that would be awesome.
He's
finally made it back. He got too late to Meereen and Dany had left, so he just went all the way back home.
Yeah. I mean, have they ever officially said that what's his name was an only child?
Not officially, I don't think. I mean, it doesn't matter. They can retcon anything they
Quentin lives.
Right, so maybe Quentin.
Maybe it's an Ironwood.
It's at a Martell somewhere beyond the dumpster.
Where the Martells belong.
A Manwoody.
Of the show Martells, I should say.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's the Manwoody, sure.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. And Yara apparently has retaken the Iron Islands. Go Yara.
Off camera.
Really easy.
Go good Krakens.
It's show up. It's yeah, what's up? I'm in charge now. And you're
Queen of Garbage Isle. Congratulations. Right. Here's your crown, Your Majesty.
You took the islands while their entire fleet was gone, and then they're just going to come back and take you out. Yeah. Or not.
Yara changes the Greyjoy sigil to like a bin chicken.
Musical chairs with those islands, yeah. And we get the first... Finally, Varys has something to do. He's scheming with Tyrion about whether Dany will actually be a good ruler. I actually really like this scene.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and Tyrion saying, like, we are the people who should be thinking about her state of mind, her loyal advisors. It's what we stress about. And I really liked that because it's a good foreshadowing for their scene later on. How on earth they ended up on the beach to each other, I have no idea. But I did love those bolts going through the ship and Tyrion just going like, nope. Oh crap! I have to swim. Okay. I think it was very good and such a surprise. And Dany wouldn't have seen them. They were in a little peninsula and there was high rocks. So when people are complaining about that, geography, she couldn't see them.
Apparently,
peninsula.
So this is the part where I felt was rushed.
Yeah.
Because and most importantly, because of Tyrion, because I feel like have Tyrion do something to show that he is smart. I mean, this seems like a perfect chance to do so, a perfect time to do so. But they kind of just rush right into the final battle with Cersei now. And he's just, he had a good scene talking with Varys, but still, it's not, why is he smart?
Yeah, it is getting a bit straining credulity that everyone keeps saying he's this genius. And pretty much every plan he puts into motion fails.
Yep.
Like, show him to be like some sort of tactical master one last time.
Yeah, I don't think the let's march up to the gate and say, pretty please, can we have like the city was a brilliant move.
Nope.
But Cersei's pretty crafty. She's like maximum. It's the Hound. Maximizing the population of King's Landing so that it because she knows Dany will err from mass slaughter, and if she indulges in it, it will be bad PR for her. I mean, I feel like Cersei. I guess she thinks she can win, and for all we know, she can. Apparently, the odds are much more even now. But it's all or nothing, I guess, for Cersei.
She's all in on crossbows. Giant crossbows.
Yeah,
a lot of them.
And the crossbow was pretty lackluster last season, but they've been upgrading considerably. They were very effective.
It's Kyburn, the secret tech.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll get to the last scene, which is Dany is ready to go full Mad Queen and burn King's Landing to the ground, but Tyrion tells her to consider the optics and the ethics. Jaime hears about the situation and starts mounting up for some queen slaying, breaking Brienne's heart and the entire fandom in the process. The Dany squad travels all the way to the gates of King's Landing for a parley, and all they get is a lousy beheading. Okay, so first Jaime, Jaime breaking Brienne's heart. I thought this scene was so devastating. Brienne's acting was so good. I got a bit misty.
Yeah,
a very good cry ugly face.
Yeah. So heartbroken. She so genuinely admires him and loves him, or wants to see him become a good person, or senses some kind of sort of knight, some kind of ideal beneath all of that sort of ragged nihilism and whatever. But
I love
he just tells her no, it's not there. There's nothing underneath.
Well, and he's at least a lot of what he's done, he's right. He says you think I'm a good man. She's hateful and so am I. And he lists off all the awful things he's done, which are awful. I mean, he's right. But he won't accept, he's gotten better and he can be better. Now, you said you think he went off to do some queen slaying. Which queen do you think he's slaying?
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, it's not. I mean, I guess the way the scene plays, it's sort of he can't quit Cersei. She's in trouble. Right. He has to go running home. Or that he goes to kill Dany and stops her from killing Cersei or something. But I think it'll be to kill Cersei. That'll be the final scene.
Oh, I definitely think it's to kill Cersei, and he knows he's going to die in the process, and it was the rough breakup, so Brienne doesn't follow him because he knows he's dying. He will make sure that Cersei is dead, and he knows that that's going to end his life.
Right. See, he doesn't want her mourning him or something.
Yeah, he doesn't want her following him because that's Brienne's thing. Brienne will no, you're off to do something noble and quest-like, and I'm sure Sansa is very happy for me to kill Cersei, so I'm going to come with you. And he's like, no, you need to this was the really mean breakup for Brienne's benefit.
Yeah,
maybe.
I feel like the main difference when he was listing off all the horrible things he did is that between him and Cersei, that Cersei would never admit those things are bad things. Cersei would just think those are things that are necessary things to do, and he the fact that he's self-consciously saying that how horrible person he is shows how different he is from Cersei, which I believe points to the fact that he is ultimately going to be the Valonqar.
Right. Interestingly, I felt like watching it definitely felt like he was saying, no, I'm going to protect Cersei. That's what I have to do. But I like the idea that you said maybe he was being harsh to Brienne to protect her, and that he's acting, and that he actually is going to go and kill her or stop her or something like that. I hadn't considered that, and that's actually an interesting idea. I guess it'll be interesting to see if he's really acting or real.
Yeah, because Jaime in the first couple of seasons, he would have broken up to Brienne to her face, but he was running off in the night, so he was gone when she woke up.
Yeah.
Also, Brienne has a nightgown. That was borrowed.
And I think Brienne thinks it's to go and protect Cersei, which is doubly heartbreaking. Not just that he's saying what a bad man he is, but that he's choosing Cersei over Brienne.
Right. Well, that's what he clearly says. Whether he's doing that, I don't know. I thought he was. I actually did think he was going back to last season. I'll do anything for her. I guess I've realized it. That's what I thought. But I actually like your idea that he's faking it. I like it.
Cersei threatens to kill him at the end of last season. I don't think there's any coming back from that.
I hope.
But that's it. I don't know if he's actually going to be how things are going to play out, because there's also the Arya scene.
Right.
Arya leaves with the Hound, and of course, Arya has more names on her list.
Right. She even says she has unfinished business, just like the Hound says he does. So.
Right.
She's also a Valonqar.
My theory with that is in Clegane Bowl, which we're totally getting. The Mountain kills the Hound, and Arya avenges the Hound.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, because her new little sword thing and like a lot of her, because I was thinking this like all episode 3, like her staff skills and that kind of thing are so reminiscent of Oberyn Martell's that it'd be really interesting to see another battle that's pretty much exactly the same, but Arya wins.
Yeah, and she needs a final kill, and it can't. I think Jaime's claimed Cersei, so I think avenging the Hound would be a good finisher.
And even in the original, like,
killed by Arya.
Yeah. She's very, very good at ticking names off that list. But yeah, in the original like Mountain Oberyn fight, it was said that like the Mountain might have strength and brawn, but these different fighting styles he's not incredibly successful against because he can't brute force it. And that's perfect for Arya, not so good for the Hound.
And no matter how thick the armor, there's always a gap. And if anyone's going to find it, it's someone like Arya
with a little needle.
But I mean, he's
with a pointy end.
He's he's a zombie. Like, can you hurt a zombie by stabbing its elbows? I don't know. And if he doesn't have a head, then I guess he does have a head in this canon, so he can stab his brain or whatever. What do we think?
Did anyone else think Missandei was going to jump off? Because I was ready for like Missandei to be like, no, like I will jump over you killing me or Dany doing something stupid. And I think she has the best final word or words, but word of the entire like death scene, just like that Dracarys. I'm like, fuck yes, Missandei, you're awesome.
Yeah. Cool final word.
One thing I wanted to
do we think she's saying burn the city? Is that the implication?
Seemed like it.
Go full Targaryen.
It seems very vindictive for the Missandei. I guess. Yeah. I don't know what I would say if I was just about to have my head cut off.
Yeah, it felt out of character, but it is a moment that isn't pretty typical.
Yeah, but it was her and Dany's first big fight thing together when Dany's like Dracarys and burn all the slave owners, and this. Yeah, like Dany's going to take it in a, like, I should burn this place down.
Right.
And just go full crazy Targ, where it's going to be like Missandei's final words that really are a tipping point.
Right.
Do you think Dany can try that trick again? Like, I'll swap you the dragon for the city, and then she goes the dragon is my slave.
I don't know if it would work for Cersei, but it would definitely work for Euron, right?
Oh, yeah, Euron, yeah. What about the Golden Company? Can they be swayed somehow?
I think the Golden Company is a plot device.
Yeah. Just a battering ram.
Yeah. Quick side note for the Sansa haters. Sansa really sets all of the treason in motion, really. I mean, she gets the info. She gets the info from Jon, swears not to tell anyone, instantly tells Varys, who then goes and tells
Tyrion.
I'm sorry, instantly tells Tyrion, and Tyrion then goes to tell Varys, and now it's done. Now the whole kingdom knows. It's like that lasted 5 minutes, and it's all Sansa's fault. So all the Sansa haters have another reason to hate her now.
The whole Seven Kingdom knows in 5 minutes.
Right.
Varys was completely right when he's like, how many people know? And Tyrion's like 8. He was like, well, that's not a secret anymore. That's just information.
Is it though? Like, as long as Sansa doesn't tell
secret.
everyone else. Yeah, you have like 10 people. Like,
well, the moment it got to
but you told Varys.
All right.
I guess Varys, so everyone knows.
Varys is still deciding whether he wants to. If he does want to press Jon's claim, then he will make it public knowledge. But I think it's still on the DL.
It sounds like he's...
And the final speech, talk he had with Tyrion, I really liked the talking about politics and treason. Tyrion saying, like, thoughts are not treason, where, I'm sorry, rulers don't think that. Rulers think thoughts are treason, and that's where it becomes a problem. And talking about destiny, he's like, I've never, say all tyrants believe it's their destiny, and that's a problem.
Right.
And last week I had issues like reconciling Varys, the protector of the innocent, with the little birds, but they've definitely, I feel like that might just be a book thing, where in the series it's definitely Varys does serve the realm and does serve the innocent people of the realm.
Right.
And this speech just reinforced it. So it's kind of my, that kind of cognitive dissonance is no longer there. Like, I get where they're coming from with Varys now. And I look forward to him betraying Dany. I look forward to the tantrum that she has. I think that is going to be some good watching.
Even though it's not like he's been with her long. But, one thing I found was really interesting, though, is there's a parallel in there that I don't know if it was deliberate, but if it is, I found it really interesting, which is when Dany gives her speech about how she needs to protect them and that's her duty and she will do it. And she says specifically, no matter the cost. And then later, when Varys is arguing with Tyrion, he makes the whole thing of like, I'm going to protect the realm. I have to do what's right for the realm. And he says, I will do it no matter the personal cost. So I thought it was interesting that him and, the woman he's opposing right now, they actually have the same point of view. I'm going to do what's necessary no matter the cost. And I don't think that Varys would even note the hypocrisy of him complaining about her doing what he's doing.
No, but Varys is talking about a personal cost. Dany is talking about a cost to everyone but her.
Yep.
Right. True. But still, it was similar words.
Varys is going to kill one person. Dany is going to kill thousands.
Yeah, it's the greater good kind of argument.
Mm-hmm.
The greater good. Sorry, I can't do a West
Country.
Country accent.
Although she's arguing the greater good, too.
And we have echoes of, the Mad King threatening to burn down the city and Jaime heading to some kind of confrontation.
Maybe it won't be, as much as we all assumed that it would be Cersei that would burn down the city and Jaime would kill her to protect the city, maybe it'll actually be Dany that Jaime has to kill to protect the city from burning.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. Who knows?
Or Jon turns up next episode and talks her down.
Jon just bumbles in, yeah.
Although, weren't we just saying that he will bow to her and she'll dominate him?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what's going to happen, and that's kind of exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is why I gave it such a high rating, is because, especially after episode 3, I didn't know what was happening. Quite a few things happened this episode that I didn't see coming. I didn't see Missandei dying in the way that she did. I am really interested again, and I didn't think I'd be this interested after episode 4. After episode 3, I thought they wouldn't have snagged me, but my goodness, they got their claws in good. That's like a meat hook underneath the ribs kind of snag. I'm going to, enjoy the next 2 episodes just to see what will happen, which I didn't expect, which is nice.
Yeah. Any other closing thoughts?
Is the next episode another big battle episode?
I don't know. I watched the preview, but it was kind of just sort of ominous shots. No indication about what's going to happen. Jon arrives, but that's about it.
In all of the preseason stuff, they talked about the one big battle. And I don't know if that was, misdirection or if, it's going to go a different way and this will be lesser. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there would be a big battle. Might be some big explosions.
It would feel anticlimactic.
Yeah, there might be some big explosions, but I don't know. We sort of got a minor skirmish this episode. Yeah. Okay, well, if that's everything, that concludes KrakenCast for this week. So there's only 2 episodes left in the entire series. If you'd like to join us for either of them, we typically record on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. You can also catch the American episode reviews with the DragonCast and the European episode reviews with the Wolfcast. So thank you for joining me, Dana, Bing, David, and Abby. And thank you for listening, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya. Thank you.